The actor and his PonziScheme in HollyWood. His story sounds like something out of a crazy movie. But this real-life story has left HollyWood wondering how an unknown person on the side could have cheated so many investors out of millions of dollars while they were trying to cash in on the boom of streaming services like Netflix and HBO. The topic concerns Zachary Joseph Horwitz, who operated a Ponzi scheme that raised millions of dollars. Zachary Joseph Horwitz, originally from Indiana, Horwitz graduated from the University of Indiana with a degree in psychology and came to Los Angeles. He was in several movies that were only available on streaming services, such as Hell is Where the Home Is, Last Moment of Clarity, 2020, The White Crow, 2018, Trespassers and the Devil Below, and Farming, 2018, with Kate Beckinsale, and was directed by Adewale Akinnuoye and Beige. Horwitz got a teacher to help him with acting, and he started attending auditions. But he met Julio Hollivis, who wanted to be a producer. Together, they began 1mm Productions, 1 in a Million, which planned to support low-budget horror and science fiction movies with good parts for Zach Avery. 1 in a Million. Horwitz told investors in 2014 that his firm, 1mm Capital, was using their money to buy the foreign distribution rights to cheap movies like Slasher Party and Satanic Panic, and then selling them for a profit to HBO, Netflix, and other streaming platforms for distribution in Latin America and other markets around the world. The buyers were told they would get back $2 million a year later. Horwitz gave investors fake license and distribution agreements with Netflix and HBO with fake or made-up signatures so they wouldn't think something was wrong. Horwitz would give the investor a note in each deal that said the money would be paid back in 6 months or a year with an acceptable return. But when he pleaded guilty to stock fraud, Horwitz admitted that he had never bought film rights and made up hundreds of distribution contracts. Horwitz kept the plan going for almost 7 years, paying back old investors with 25% to 45% of the money he got from new buyers. When the scam was discovered, he had to pay them $230 million. Prosecutors say he used that money to pay for his luxury spending and to buy a $5.7 million home in Beverly Hills with a theater room and a wine cellar. No one knows what happened to the rest. Horwitz lied to investors, many of whom were close friends, for more than 5 years to get them to give him millions of dollars. He said that the money would be used to buy the rights to distribute movies, which he would then sell to online services like Netflix and HBO for profit. But everything was a lie. According to the government's sentencing memorandum, Horwitz didn't use the money to buy films and set up distribution deals. Instead, he ran 1mm Capital as a Ponzi scheme, using victims' money to pay back earlier investors and fund his lavish lifestyle, which included buying his $6 million Beverlywood home, luxury cars, and traveling by private jet. Horwitz cheated on 5 big private investor groups, but he knew that these groups got their money from individual donors. Horwitz got at least $650 million from more than 250 people who invested directly or indirectly in 1mm Capital throughout the plan. By the end of 2019, 1MM Capital had stopped paying the promissory notes it had made. The Ponzi scheme is over. Horwitz's plan began in 2014 and continued until April 2021 when the FBI caught him. During that time, Horwitz signed hundreds of promissory notes with investors through his company, 1MM Capital. Each letter was supposed to give 1MM Capital the money it needed to buy the rights to a particular movie, and each letter was supposed to be paid back with the money made from selling those movie rights to Netflix or HBO. The promissory notes stated that the money would be paid back on a specific date and for a certain amount, including investment returns of 25% to 45%. Investors were upset when 1MM Capital started complaining in 2019. In response, Horwitz gave investors false assurances that any missed payments on promissory notes were due to the streaming platforms and that prices on the notes would start again. Horwitz sent fake emails and text messages to the investors using the names of real HBO and Netflix workers to back up these lies. The FBI looked into this case. The Securities and Exchange Commission of the United States helped a lot. Assistant U.S. Attorneys Alexander B. Schwab and David H. Chow of the Major Frauds Section brought this case. Zachary Joseph Horwitz, who is 35 years old and lives in the Beverlywood neighborhood of Los Angeles, was sentenced by U.S. District Judge Mark C. Scarsi. He was told to pay $230,361,884 to the people he hurt. Horwitz pled guilty to 1 count of stock fraud in October 2021. When FBI officers went to Horwitz's house on April 6 at dawn, they caught him. Mallory, his wife, soon filed for a divorce. In court, she said that he had been lying to her and everyone else around him and that he was not the guy she thought he was. What's more interesting isn't how Horwitz pulled off the scam, but how the movie and TV business generally works. Things might not have gotten worse if he had a real connection to the company, such as Netflix or HBO.